This chapter was full, so full of gems, so many aspects that touched how I grew up, and I know many of us grew up. I think this one was international because I've seen Russian people who have those, the doilies and whatevers that they used to crochet on the back of the sofas. And I know that there's the special china that only is used when there are special people, and that's not only Africa. So this part of it was, yes, I know this and I agree, I've lived this and I don't want my children to live it. So this was the chapter, how to live when you're out the city. The air, the home itself, how to live. And also just planning where out the city to live. In the construction of buildings, whether for public purposes or as dwellings, care should be taken to provide for good ventilation and plenty of sunlight. Our huts weren't like that. We didn't have good ventilation and definitely not plenty of sunlight. So we have to change how we do things. Add more windows to our huts. I don't know that many of us are building huts anymore, but yes, more windows, more ventilation. When I was growing up, all the houses, besides having windows, they had ventilators, so that if you closed your windows, there's still air coming in and out. But that seems not to be the norm. Well, it's not the norm here in my house. I don't know about where you are, but yes, ventilators were the norm. Or ventilation ducts, whatever you want to call it. So far as possible, all buildings intended for human habitation should be placed So far as possible, all buildings intended for human habitation should be placed on high, well-drained ground. This will ensure a dry site. This matter is often too lightly regarded. Continuous ill health, serious diseases, and many deaths result from the dampness and malaria of low-lying, ill-drained situations. Damp, rising damp, it not only is unhealthy, but it's also bad for the house itself. In the building of houses, it is especially important to secure thorough ventilation and plenty of sunlight. Let there be a current of air and an abundance of light in every room in the house. In most countries, bedrooms need to be supplied with conveniences for heating, that they may be thoroughly warmed and dried in cold or wet weather. So we know we need air, we need sunlight, and when it's cold and rainy or damp, we need heat to keep the house dry. Mold. Many places have a mold problem. So winter for us comes with rain and it comes with mold. Mold is dangerous, can be deadly. So you need to make sure if you have a mold problem, run through heat. Heat the room, leave it open. That's one of the tips they give. Because you can't avoid humidity. You can't avoid the air. But that's how you mitigate it. Just like she herself said all these hundreds of years ago. Dry and warm. That's what we need for our homes. And when you see that first spot of mold, get rid of it. It doesn't disappear on its own. So, that's the other problem with living in the city. If you live in a city and you open your window and you leave this air coming in, what kind of air are you taking in? Poisonous, toxic air, day and night. We really need to get out the city. We really do. I've looked at also maybe when you're choosing a place to live, do what I did and check the pollution index of the place you want to move to. Ours it's actually fine where we are, maybe because we're close to the ocean and we're close to outside there. But go to check CBD, Cape Town or Maitland, some areas, just check the pollution index. And if you've got a choice, stay where there is not as much, there isn't pollution, or there isn't high pollution. It'll be better for you, and then you can have your house open. And if you live in a place that has mosquitoes so that you can't leave your windows open, check and see if you can get mosquito, not nets, but yeah, closures, that screens, mosquito screens that you can put across the window so that the air comes in, but the mosquitoes don't. That's an option that I saw in Zambia, where they have loads of mosquitoes. That's how they did it. They had screens on the windows in at the mission place we stayed at. The guest chamber should have equal care with the rooms intended for constant use. Again, this just highlights the point we've been making. It was easier to have a home in her setting than it is today. Guest chamber, how many people in South Africa can afford to not only have a house but have an extra bedroom that is just free for guests? My parents only really built an extra bedroom that we could use as a guest room when they were probably, my dad was probably in his 80s and my mother in her 60s. So it takes a while to reach that level, if ever. So again, please don't beat yourself up for not being able to obey and get out the city. It's not because you don't want to. There are some things we can obey and we must obey, like, I don't know, eating or dressing or not lying. Those are within our reach. But this is not within our reach. But as I said again, where we are, let's live to the best of, as close to the ideal as possible. And I've given ideas like have your plants in pots if you don't have ground, even if it's just one herb or two herbs. Just have even that. It already will bring so much peace when you're nourishing that herb. Just watering it already, it gives you that high, that high feeling. So anyway, let's continue. The guest chamber should have equal care with the rooms intended for constant use. Like the other bedrooms, it should have air and sunshine and should be provided with some means of heating to dry out the dampness that always accumulates in a room not in constant use. And as I said about mold, whoever sleeps in a sunless room or occupies a bed that has not been thoroughly dried and aired does so at the risk of health and often of life. This stuff is serious. Damp is bad. And another thing I would do is view a house in winter. Check how wet the walls are. Is there rising damp in the actual bricks? If there is, then you know, oh, you're in trouble. Do that. Those who have the aged to provide for should remember that these especially need warm, comfortable rooms. Vigor declines as years advance, leaving less vitality with which to resist unhealthful influences. Hence, the greater necessity for the aged to have plenty of sunlight and fresh, pure air. We know that our old people feel cold. They feel colder than we do, and it's part of the aging process. How are we helping them to have the sunlight and to keep warm and dry? Dispense with heavy curtains. Open the windows and the blinds. Allow no vines, however beautiful, to shade the windows, and permit no trees to stand so near the house as to shut out the sunshine. The sunlight may fade the drapery and the carpets and tarnish the picture frames, but it will bring a healthy glow to the cheeks of the children who are white. But yes, whether we can show our healthy glow or not, keep it open. Who cares about fading anything? We need life. Frames are not a necessity. Bright frames are not a necessity. Bright carpets are not a necessity. But bright, healthy, gleaming, eyes, hearts and bodies, lungs, that's what we need. That's what our children need and deserve as well. A yard beautified with scattering trees and some shrubbery at a proper distance from the house has a happy influence upon the family, and if well taken care of, will prove no injury to the health. But shade trees and shrubbery close and dense around a house make it unhealthful, for they prevent the free circulation of air and shut out the rays of the sun. In consequence, a damp gathers in the house, especially in wet seasons. True, creepers, vines, they gather moisture because it's a plant. Plants need moisture. So now when you've got it creeping on your wall, it's gathering more moisture, which then goes into your walls. Let your house be untouched by plants as much as possible. Have the tree if you can, but it must be a bit further away. It mustn't be right next to your house. Plus, if you ever get a strong wind or something, you don't want the tree to collapse onto your house directly. So the further away, the safer it is. God loves the beautiful. He has clothed the earth and the heavens with beauty, and with a father's joy, he watches the delight of his children in the things that he has made. He desires us to surround our homes with the beauty of natural things. Natural things. And with a father's heart, he loves seeing us happy. I don't know what kind of father there was in her day, but in these days, the kinds of fathers I've seen don't have that joy in their children's innocent, happy moments. They don't take pride, or they don't just glow in that moment like mothers do. The fathers I know specifically, personally. So I would say with a mother's heart, for those of us who've seen mothers or are mothers, who know that we love it when our children are happy. And for me, I love it when my children love nature, love flowers, because I love flowers too. I thought when I get rich, I'm going to have a house and I'm going to have different color rose bushes. But then my children have allergies, so I will be satisfied with the flowers that we do have. But yes, natural things, not vases, not expensive bowls for fruit, the natural things around the house. That's what God values and wants us to enjoy. And he loves it when we do enjoy it. Nearly all dwellers in the country, however poor, could have about their homes a bit of grassy lawn, a few shade trees, flowering shrubbery, or fragrant blossoms. Sorry, people, the medication I'm taking for the fibromyalgia type issues is hard on me. I've been dizzy for almost 24 hours and my tongue has not wanted to work well. I'm sorry about that. And far more than any artificial adorning will they minister to the happiness of the household. They will bring into the home life a softening, refining influence, strengthening the love of nature and drawing the members of the household nearer to one another and nearer to God. If we go out the city with a pure heart, loving everything God loves, we will love his creation. And when we see it around us, we will love life. And when we all admire the rose, there's this beautiful plant that my daughter, my non-speaking daughter, showed me. She was standing in front of it one day. Did she pull me to it? I can't remember. It was 2 years ago. But she pulled me to it, or she was standing in front of it. So I went close to it. It was beautiful and open. And I got close, and it had the most delicious smell. We'd lived here for 2 years before their birth, before the twins' birth. And I'd never noticed that plant, that flower, that specific flower. It took my daughter being able to walk to show me this. Look at this, smell this. And we could appreciate it together. And my children, many children, love. Look, the flowers are here. And before my daughter's allergies were too bad and we realized, she would love picking flowers. They like even picking the weeds that grow, the flowers from the weeds. The children love natural things. And the more they spend time with only natural things, the more they will love not only them, but the God who created them. Elaborate and expensive furnishings are a waste not only of money, but of that which is 1,000-fold more precious. They bring into the home a heavy burden of care and labor and perplexity. Who grew up with a mother who was able to afford to buy brass furniture, silver furniture, not furniture, things like vases and plates, things that were never actually used. And then we would have to buy brasso, and then we have to shine it and clean it for it to be hidden in the wall unit, as we call them here. What's the point of that? What a waste of money. What a waste of God's money. Expensive decor. Get that out your head. The decor we need is in the garden. That's what we need. The flowers, the shrubbery. That's like bushes. That's what shrubbery is. Bushes. Or a tree. That's what we need. We don't need vases and ceramics and china plates. Furnish your home with things plain and simple. Things that will bear handling, that can be easily kept clean, and that can be replaced without great expense. By exercising taste, you can make a very simple home attractive and inviting, if love and contentment are there. That's the other ingredient. How to make this home, how to keep the inside. Add love. It's not only the decor, it's the people that turn this house into a home. So, plain and simple. Cheap is fine if it does what it needs to do and doesn't break quickly. If it's functional, cheap is okay. There's no need to buy expensive just for the sake of being able to say, I've bought this from wherever. We need to get out of that mindset. Life is a disappointment and a weariness to many persons because of the unnecessary labor with which they burden themselves in meeting the claims of custom. Their minds are continually harassed with anxiety as to supplying wants which are the offspring of pride and fashion. Let me just continue to this one and then I'll talk about that. The expense, care, and labor lavished on that which, if not positively injurious, is unnecessary, would go far toward advancing the cause of God if applied to a worthier object. I reminded us maybe 2 weeks ago, this is God's money. Yes, you are the one who's going to the office. It's God's money. Yes, you are the one who's taking care of the children. It's God's money. The money belongs to God, not your employer, not the business, not the company. It's God's money. And so what we do with God's money, God has to have the first choice and first say. And he has given us principle. There's a young lady who got married recently. And the pride of being able to furnish the home. Yes, that's actually something I wanted to talk about. We as African people generally, not all of us, have been blessed because we knew such want and such poverty and such lack that we don't take pride in the furnishings. We don't care about having the latest kind of tap in the bathroom. Many of us don't even have a bathroom. Many of us are still using a basin, pouring water into a plastic dish and washing in it. So we live a totally different life to the West and to first world countries. So we have that as a bonus because we are so used to not having, to struggling with other people, to living together in squashed homes that have no furnishings, some little furnishings, second-hand furnishings, uncomfortable furnishings, mattresses that have springs that are broken, the base, sorry, mattresses that are thin on bases that are broken. No paintings, nothing hanging on the wall. That when we move out of that, we just rejoice that we've moved out of that. We've got our own place. We rejoice with couples. Well, I do, when they've got their own place, whether it's rented or bought. I don't care. There's this custom, fashion, society, what society tells you. My mother used to say, but so-and-so owns a house. Why don't you own a house? Will she pay the mortgage? Will she pay the deposit? It's not that easy to buy a house. Plus, we wanted a house out the city. All the people she was talking about were living in a place, you people might know it, in Montana, Nasemandalay. Those places are far from being country-like. And that's not what we wanted. We'd rather rent where it is more beneficial for us and our children. So I want to tell you that if you can't buy in the best place, rent in the most ideal place. Yes, you're helping the person pay their mortgage, but you're still taking care of yourself and having your own home. There ain't no shame in renting an abode. And so we just celebrate that they found a place to rent. They found their own place. They're not sharing with uncles and cousins and nephews. It's their own space. That is amazing already on its own. Where it is, doesn't matter. They've got their own space. That is a big deal to the rest of us. And I pray that we as Africans don't lose that, and we don't join the few Africans who do care about where you live, what kind of lifestyle you have where you are living. Let's be grateful that we have shelter, that we can branch out on our own and live as couples. So many people are so poor. So many young men can't get married because they don't have money to pay the lobola and also save towards renting. There's someone I know who was with me, my cohort, and up to today, at our age, he's still living today in a shack. These are my people. These are people I grew up with. But it's his own space, and he was proud of having his own space. And that's yeah. My point, sorry, was at least he had his own space. That's where I was going, because I visited people in shacks before, and it was the inside had chairs. I was just happy that it was clean and dry, and they had a place to call home. And he is clean and dry and has a place to call home. No one cares about furnishings. We just need people to have shelter, their own shelter. Anything else, mats and rugs, those are luxuries to us. And may they remain luxuries, so that we don't then say, oh, I only want a Persian rug, or I only need to get a rug from whatever expensive place, or no, my furniture only has to come from Corricroft or Waverley or whatever it is, because that's the best. As long as we've got comfortable seating, that's what matters the most. May we never lose that sense of gratitude for being able to go a step higher than our parents could. And may we be grateful that we have chairs to sit on, no matter where they come from and what they look like. Okay, sorry, the expense, care, and labor on these things. When my mother was retiring, I'll talk about her because I don't actually know anyone else. When my mother was retiring, she said she's going to spend 30,000 Rand on a sofa, like a set of sofas, matching sofas. That's the other thing. I like being eclectic. I imagined my home having one red chair over there, a black one over here. I thought it would be cool like that. But they tend to sell these things in sets. So then you have to buy matching things, and yeah. But I wanted the eclectic, which comes up in here, in the chapter, in the rest of the chapter down below. And yeah, but my mother bought these heavy, huge, thick fabric, cloth covered sofas, and not the type that they've created now where you can just spray and wash off the spots, like real cloth and fancy cloth, elaborate cloth. People of the olden days used to wrap it all up in plastic. And you know how it is when it's hot and you're sitting and then you're stuck to the plastic and the heat goes through the plastic, because we're protecting these things from being damaged. That's not what God wants. He wants us to be comfortable and free and not have the labor of having to wipe off. It's just not homely. Yes, it's not homely. The plastic is not homely. And the cloth, expensive as it may be, is not labor, is labor intensive. You have to wash it to keep it clean. If someone urinates by mistake or wets themselves on that cloth, you're in trouble. So the choices we make, they shouldn't, and the reason was, I want to have very nice furniture when I retire. That was the reason, so that people can know that I had a good job. That was the reason. It wasn't, I want long-lasting furniture so that when I've retired, I don't ever have to buy another set again. It wasn't, I want durable furniture. It was, I want fancy, luxurious furniture. The sofas and the wall unit. If you've been to my home, you know the wall unit. There was one before, and then we got richer, and then we got another one. And it's about looking beautiful, not about serving a purpose. Let's make sure that what we buy is also serving a purpose and isn't just about looking beautiful, showing that I could afford it, that I had a good job. Because when we die, what happens? Those things get sold off by some weird child offspring of the deceased. You're in the coffin, bones are just bones, and those things are left behind to be used up as firewood. People crave what are called the luxuries of life and sacrifice health, strength, and means to obtain them. A lamentable spirit of rivalry is manifested among persons of the same class as to who shall make the greatest display in matters of dress and of household expenditure. The sweet word home is perverted to mean something with four walls filled with elegant furniture and adornments, while its inmates are on a continual strain to meet the requirements of custom in the different departments of life. What a life! You're just like a hamster on a wheel going round and round to look good, look good, look good. But it's not even helping your character to be good, be good, be good. We don't need those. God certainly doesn't need those. We don't need to be better than so-and-so. We don't need to say, but Porsche has a Jeep, so I also need a Jeep. If the car you're driving is fine, the cheaper car you're driving is fine, still working and in good condition. Adults do that. Adults will say, but so-and-so, Porsche, has a Jeep, so we also should get one. We can't be left behind. I can't believe people do that, but they actually do. Many are unhappy in their home life because they're trying so hard to keep up appearances. They expend large sums of money and labor unremittingly that they may make a display and gain the praise of their associates, those who really care nothing for them or their prosperity. Isn't that always the case? One article after another is considered indispensable to the household appointments. We need it, until many expensive additions are made that, while they please the eye and gratify pride and ambition, do not in the least increase the comfort of the family. And yet these things have taxed the strength and patience and consumed valuable time, which should have been given where? To the service of the Lord. God first. Why are we trying to impress people? The people who love us don't care what sort of furnishings we have. The people who love us just want us to be comfortable. That's all they desire. They want us to be comfortable, to have food, and to be healthy. That is what those who love us want for us. They don't need expensive wall hangings. They need you. They want your company, not just look at your walls. Neatness and order are essential to comfort, but these virtues should not be carried to such an extreme as to make life a period of unceasing drudgery and to render the inmates of the home miserable. In the houses of some whom we highly esteem, there is a stiff precision about the arrangement of the furniture and belongings that is quite as disagreeable as a lack of order would be. The painful propriety which invests the whole house makes it impossible to find there that rest which one expects in the true home. Don't make your home a museum or a hospital. Make it comfortable. You don't have to have everything in such strict order that people are scared to touch things or to step somewhere. Let us begin. I hope I find the right place where I began. There was a line I had forgotten to emphasize in the last paragraph I read. Many are unhappy in their home life because they're trying so hard to keep up appearances. They expend large sums of money and labor unremittingly that they may make a display and gain the praise of their associates, those who really care nothing for them or their prosperity. It is a true and sad fact of life that people are fake. People are not genuine. And as Christians, a genuine Christian loves you, wants you to evolve or transform and become closer and become like God. Move towards His image. I'm sorry, I think the medication is still impacting my tongue. And it's something I will mention to my doctor. So it leads to quite a few stops and stutters. But yes, and the thing is, we need to find and identify true friends. A true friend is in the Christian realm is someone who wants you to improve, not progress in terms of finances, but improve in your Christian walk. Someone who wants you to reform, to transform, to become more and more sanctified and purified and pure. Those are the people who really love you. If that is their goal for you, if that is their wish for you, they truly love you if they are Christian. But there are many people who become friends with people who it turns out that's not their goal. They don't want to gain from you and they don't want to gain you to gain from them. They're not there to bless you. That's not their aim in being your friend or your associate if they're relatives who stay very close to you. It's sad, but that is what happens. And so you are busy wasting all your time and effort trying to make your house look good for that kind of guest who actually would care nothing for you. If you were to ask them, if you're ill like me, if you were to wake them up and ask them, hey, what disease do I have? They won't even know the name. They won't even know your symptoms. They won't remember what your child was struggling with in school. They won't even care about your child's academic progress. They won't really know anything. It's like the people who would text me in the morning, how are you? And I'd say, ugh, I'm having another bad IBS day, irritable bowel syndrome day. And in the evening they'd ask, hey, they'd say at the end of the day, oh, well, I'm glad it was nice talking to you. I'm glad you had a good day today. And I'm thinking, I told you I didn't. That kind of person is not a real person who cares about you. Don't waste your time on such people. It's already a waste of money anyway and a waste of time. But you're giving it to you, you're costing your pills to swine. Many are okay, we've reread that one. The precious grace of God is made secondary to matters of no real importance, and many, while collecting material for enjoyment, lose the capacity for happiness. They find that their possessions fail to give the satisfaction they had hoped to derive from them. This endless round of labor, this unceasing anxiety to embellish the home for visitors and strangers to admire, never pays for the time and means thus expended. It is placing upon the neck a yoke of bondage grievous to be borne. Wanting your house to look like the latest design, whatever page, it's nice, but it's a lot of wasted time. And where does Christ fit in? Have you designed your life around Christ? Are you looking for the things that are needed in order for you to keep walking on the narrow way? But no, this kind of person, they spend their time trying to impress, dressing to impress, furniture to impress. I want it to look good. I want them to know I've got money. Who cares if you've got money or not? God wants your money. In fact, instead, he would rather you bought a normal sofa and you gave to him. Adopt a child, help a family, whatever you do, or do both. But do it. Do something for God. Give to the missionaries. Give to the children. Give to the project. Give. Don't keep and then have this massive, expensive sofa that people who don't care about you will sit on. Just strangers. You think of your family. Think of God and what you owe them. Your family doesn't need expensive furniture. Your family doesn't need, what's it called? The most modern and most recent shower heads, and I've mentioned that before, the mirrors, whatever it is. Your family doesn't need that. Question, Eliora.
Thank you.
As your mother.
Yes.
Thank you. What do you need from your family? What should we give you? What should you be gaining from us? What do you need as a child of the family? Yes, that's the question.
Besides the obvious things like food and shelter, it would be a good, caring and nurturing environments that can gain me enough experience and life skills that I can carry with me when I leave house.
Okay, a loving, nurturing experience where you can get life experience. Life experience like what? Chores.
Yes.
Okay.
Cleaning my house, also the basic self-care skills that I should be in mind when I leave the house, and cooking too.
Okay.
Especially.
So that's what you want from us. Are we giving that to you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. May I show your face, please? It's for an Adventist home study.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
What do you need from your family? What must we do for you? What good things do you need? What makes you happy about your family?
Dancing.
Dancing makes you happy about your family?
Yes.
And what else makes you happy about your family?
Singing.
Singing makes you happy. Who do you sing with?
My family.
Your family. So you like dancing with your family and singing with your family.
Yes.
That's what makes you happy.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
Glory.
Glory.
Yes.
Okay.
In the highest.
Glory to God in the highest. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you need expensive sofas?
Yes.
I heard that. Yes?
Never mind.
Okay.
Mommy, can you make it louder?
Yes, make it louder.
Or softer?
You can make it loud. I'll just ask him Annie quickly, okay? What do you need from your family? What do you need from your family? What will make you happy as a child? Of the family.
What do you mean?
What should we give you? What should you have? What do you think you should have as a child in the family or as a family member? What should we be giving you or being for you? How should we be? What should we give you? What should we buy for the house that will make you happy? What will make you happy? What makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
Yes, what do you enjoy? What do you need?
Wearing beautiful dresses with Nene.
Wearing beautiful dresses with Nene.
Yes.
That's what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think you need? What will make you feel loved? What makes you feel loved? Do you feel loved?
Yes.
Okay, how do you know you are loved?
Because we give us things.
We give you things.
Yes.
Do we spend time with you?
Yes.
Do you want time with us?
Yes.
What do you like doing in the evenings with your mom?
Reading.
So you like reading. Do you need reading?
Yes.
You like that time together. So you like being with your sister, playing with your sister. What else did you say you like again? You need to have spend time with family. And you like wearing your beautiful dresses.
Yes.
Okay. Do they need to cost a lot and be expensive dresses?
No.
No. Okay. Do you need a big expensive sofa?
No.
Do you need a very fancy painting on the wall?
No.
Is our bathroom fine like it is?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mikaya, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you have a loving family?
Yes.
Do we love you?
Yes.
How do you know we love you?
Because you're kind.
Because we're kind.
Yes.
What makes you happy about our family?
That you buy things for me.
We buy things for you, like treats or expensive things like quad bikes. What do we buy for you that makes you happy?
Big toys.
Big toys like?
Controllable monster trucks and other things.
Your trucks, your garbage trucks and your fire trucks. So that makes you that shows you that we love you. And you said what else makes you happy? Being with your family. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, I'll check back and see. And you said you know we love you because we
Buy things for me.
buy things for you, and you said we are kind. Yes, you said we are kind to you.
Yes.
Do you need an expensive sofa
No.
to show you that we love you?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you for that answer. So you just need love.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Hi, Rio. You're not gonna tell us anything, hey, my baby. I don't know what you've got on your face. Yes?
Why are you asking what makes me happy?
I want to put it on Adventist home. So for our families we don't need expensive curtains and expensive blinds. Would that make you feel happier? Okay, thank you. What do you need?
Caring parents.
Caring parents. What do you want from us? What should we give you?
That's an odd question. I never thought about that.
You've never thought of it. Yeah. Okay, so does that mean we've provided you with everything you need?
Yes.
You don't feel you're lacking?
No, don't like it.
You don't want us to put expensive curtains on the blinds, on the doors, on our glass doors?
No.
Are you fine with the kind of glass door we have?
Yep.
You don't have a problem with it? Okay. And what about your clothes? Would you prefer they came from Fabiani?
If it's functional and it's comfortable, then I'm fine with it.
Okay, so wherever it comes from, doesn't matter. It's the use that you can get from it.
Yes.
Okay. And what do you say? You said you need what from your family?
Caring environments.
Sorry?
Caring environments.
Thank you very much. A caring environment. That's what you need. Goodbye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Now let's go back to the paragraph. Make your friends feel comfortable. Obviously, the friends should also know your situation, your circumstances. If you're sick, your friends should understand that you need to go and rest, or that you need to go take your tablets, etc. Or that you need to clean, someone needs to dust. Like if I've got dust allergies and it's been 5 hours since my daughter's teddy bear was in the fridge, it has to be taken out and vacuumed, so that she can have it because she's autistic and she wants her teddy bear right now, and someone has to vacuum it. And I can't. In my situation, I'm not allowed to even touch the teddy bear. So we will then say, we're sorry, someone needs to vacuum her teddy bear, and then we'll come back to you. So we too will be mindful of your comfort, and we want to show you that we care about you by listening to you, not spending our time out there cleaning. When you're doing something else that you don't have to do, it gives the impression that you don't care about the people who are visiting you. You're not thankful for their visit. That's sad. It's not how Jesus worked. In direct contrast to such homes was one that we visited during the last summer. I wonder if they recognized themselves in the descriptions. Here, the few hours of our stay were not spent in useless labor or in doing that which could be done as well at some other time, but were occupied in a pleasant and profitable manner, restful alike to mind and body. The house was a model of comfort, although not extravagantly furnished. Luxury doesn't equate to comfort, not necessarily. The rooms were all well lighted and ventilated, which is of more real value than the most costly adornments. I've never actually gone into a house thinking they don't have any art on their wall or whatever. It's weird. We just want comfort, and we should want it for our own homes as well, not only when we go visiting. It's hard to feel relaxed when you feel like everything is so carefully done that you are going to mess it up. But if the house is built for comfort and all they care about is having the windows and the air, then you feel at home. The parlors were not furnished with that precision which is so tiresome to the eye, but there was a pleasing variety in the articles of furniture. Oh, this was fun for me. When we were quite newlywed, we would invite youth to our house, and our sofa we only had one couch really for the four of us, so we're going to have lots of people. So I'd say, let's go get some ottomans. I would pick up a red one, a grey one, a black and grey one, and a black one. Just different colors, different makes. I thought it was cool to just be eclectic, but still matching, not clashing, but yeah, colors that work together. You don't have to be red and black and silver like me, but you can, if you can, get furniture that isn't all just the 2, 3, 1 couch set that the couch people now offer. It is a pity that you can't buy single sets. 1 2-seater that is tan, a 3-seater that is beige, 1 hard tall chair that is whatever. Most furniture stores are very precise, and you have to buy the whole lounge suite, and it takes away the ability to be eclectic like this, for there to be a variety. Let's continue. The proprietors of this pleasant home were in such circumstances that they might have furnished and embellished their residence expensively. They had the money, but they had wisely chosen comfort rather than display. There was nothing in the house considered too good for general use, and the curtains and blinds were not kept closed to keep the carpets from fading and the furniture from tarnishing. Comfort, rest, just peaceful. The rigid precision which we have mentioned as being a disagreeable feature of so many homes is not in accordance with the great plan of nature. God has not caused the flowers of the fields to grow in regular beds with set borders, but He has scattered them like gems over the greensward, and they beautify the earth with their variety of form and color. The trees of the forest are not in regular order. It is restful to eye and mind to range over the scenes of nature, over forest, hill and valley, plain and river, enjoying the endless diversity of form and color and the beauty with which trees, shrubs and flowers are grouped in nature's garden, making it a picture of loveliness. Childhood, youth and age can alike find rest and gratification there. This law of variety can be in a measure carried out in the home. There should be a proper harmony of colors and a general fitness of things in the furnishings of a house. But it is not necessary to good taste that every article of furniture in a room should be of the same pattern in design, material, or upholstery. But on the contrary, It is more pleasing to the eye that there should be a harmonious variety. But whether the home be humble or elegant, its appointments, furnishings, etc., costly or the reverse, there will be no happiness within its walls unless the spirit of its inmates is in harmony with the divine will. Contentment should reign within the household. The most important thing is following God. We may live out the city but still be totally lost. The most important thing is to follow God, submit to Him in every area in which He has given light. And when we do that, we respect each other, we love each other, we help each other, and whether we're rich or poor, our home will then be happy. The very best part of the house, the sunniest and most inviting rooms, and the most comfortable furniture should be in a daily use by those who really live in the house. This will make home attractive to the inmates and also to that class of friends who really care for us, whom we could benefit and by whom we could be benefited. Not that old-fashioned thing where mothers would tell us, you can't sit there, that's only for guests. You can't touch this piece of this cup, it's only for guests. Not because we're children, but because, and might break it, but because it's fancy. The ones who would tell their children, don't sit on the sofa, sit on the floor. We will sit on the sofa and watch the news while you sit on the floor. That's unattractive. You feel like you're not part of the family, like you're a pest. And if you're a pest here, you'll go find somewhere else where you feel more welcome. And then benefited friends, friends who can really benefit you. It is not wrong. That's something I have taken 44 years to realize. It is not wrong to look for people who will give what I give. I give a lot of myself to relationships. I will check on you. I'll ask how your mother is. And you will be benefited by my care and my prayer, by my financial help if I can give. And I will be benefited if you're a true friend who really cares. I'll be benefited by your listening ear. Or there's the lady who's, we're not really friends, but she sent some money this past month and I could put that towards my going away rest weekend. She benefited me, truly benefited me out of the blue. Or the friend who came to visit and spent time with my children. She benefited me. I could rest my body knowing that my children are safe. They are not going to do anything damaging, harmful, injurious, because someone is with them. It does not require costly surroundings and expensive furniture to make children contented and happy in their homes. But it is necessary that the parents give them tender love and careful attention. Four walls and costly furniture, velvet carpets, elegant mirrors, and fine pictures do not make a home if sympathy and love are wanting. That sacred word does not belong to the glittering mansion where the joys of domestic life are unknown. Happiness does not come from having an expensive car if the family has no love, if the husband is distant, if the husband is always at work or talking about work, if there's no sympathy, no concern about the other, no care. How are you feeling, my boy? I fell. Oh, I'm sorry. As opposed to, oh, well, ghetto, you'll be fine. Those kinds of comments, you'll be fine. That is a lack of sympathy. And it's so easy to say, especially men find it so easy to say. Men, give your hearts, give your life. Your wife wants you. Yes, your money is good for living, but she wants you more than she wants your money. Well, if she's a good Christian woman, she wants you, not the money. She wants you, not the ability to go on holiday to Kruger National Park. She wants you. And that's what God wants for our homes. Not the money to go and buy. I don't even know who makes expensive paintings. I bought that Mr. Price elephant one because I've always loved wild animals, and because they didn't have a good rhino one. My family, my father's surname meant rhino, and I wanted rhinos, but they had elephants, and that's okay too. So my one art piece is very cheap. My wall hangings are very cheap, and I'm fine with that. And we should all be fine with very cheap, or not even there, non-existent. We don't need wall hangings. We need love. We don't need paintings. We need care. We don't need expensive fittings. We need sympathy. We need a home, a place of peace and rest for all of us, not just for one. Not the one who dominates conversation, expects to be listened to, but never listens. It needs care. That's what a home needs. In fact, the comfort and welfare of the children are the last things thought of in such a home. They are neglected by the mother, whose whole time is devoted to keeping up appearances and meeting the claims of fashionable society. Their minds are untrained. They acquire bad habits and become restless and dissatisfied, finding no pleasure in their own homes, but only uncomfortable restrictions. They break away from the family circle as soon as possible. They launch out into the great world with little reluctance, unrestrained by home influence and the tender counsel of the hearthstone. Our children need us. Our children need us, even when they don't say so. Even when they pretend they're fine with their friends, they need us. They need to know we're there for them. Don't say to them, as I have heard many mothers say, "There's no room for you here in the parlor. Don't sit on that sofa that is covered with satin damask or damask." I have no clue how to pronounce that cloth material, damask, whatever. I should have looked it up because I was going to say it verbally. I'm sorry. We don't want you to sit down on that sofa. And when they get into another room, "We don't want your noise here." And they go into the kitchen and the cook says, "I cannot be bothered with you here. Go out from here with your noise. You pester me so and bother me." Where do they go to receive their education? Into the street. Here I am blessed. We have a helper who comes Monday to Friday until mid-afternoon, and she never chases the children out. I end up saying, "Okay, really? Aren't you in her way?" It was so cute today. My daughter was upset because her bigger siblings, the middle two, had gone to occupational therapy. She always feels lost without her 10-year-old sister. But I found her chatting with our Auntie Violet, as they call her. And it was just the sweetness of her not being bothered, answering all the questions, chatting nicely, even though she was so busy. That's how every child should be treated by every member of the family, whether a part-time worker, half the time worker, or full-time family member. Unwanted, 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 unwanted. You with your noise, that's how children are. Unwanted, unwanted. I'm imperfect, I am flawed. I can't sit here, I'm not allowed to, I'm not good enough. I don't belong here. I must go out and find people who will care about me and my comfort. My choices are based on my children. I even still have a carpet only for my children because they kneel when we're praying, and also they like to sit on the carpet when they're watching. Otherwise, I'd have gotten rid of that carpet long ago. But as the pulmonologist said, what's a few coughs here and there? compared to the comfort of your child, especially when your children are neurodivergent. And so, how many of us are making decisions based on our children's comfort first, then us, then strangers and outsiders, if God approves of the choices we make? Children actually come first, men. I might have said it before that you tend to tell people you mustn't have children, then everything revolves around the children and your wife forgets you, which is a lie. But children deserve, God said so. Children are meant to come first in the family. Children are a work. Children are a mission field. And children deserve to feel loved, wanted. When they know that, they know a bit of who Christ is through you, because that's how God makes us feel. Loved, wanted. Well, why else would he die on the cross? Because he wanted us. And we need to show that to our children. It begins not only with our voices, our actions, but it also begins with letting them be at home. When they are at home, there should be less care for what the outside world will say and more thoughtful attention to the members of the family circle. There should be less display and affectation of worldly politeness and much more tenderness and love, cheerfulness, and Christian courtesy among the members of the household. But it's the opposite, I've found, where people will say things and you ask them, would you ever say that to your boss? Would you ever talk like that to your colleague? Let us be loving. Let us be respectful. Let us be tender, loving, cheerful, and courteous. Where? At home. Many need to learn how to make home attractive, a place of enjoyment. Thankful hearts and kind looks are more valuable than wealth and luxury, and contentment with simple things will make home happy if love be there. Contentment with simple things. Jesus, our Redeemer, walked the earth with the dignity of a king, yet he was meek and lowly of mind. He was a light and blessing in every home because he carried cheerfulness, hope, and courage with him. Oh, that we could be satisfied with less heart longings, less striving for things difficult to obtain, wherewith to beautify our homes, while that which God values above jewels, the meek and quiet spirit, is not cherished. Oh, how few people have I heard, women especially, focusing on being humble and holy. How many of us, men and women, say, yeah, I need to become meek. I need to become quiet. I need to get money to do this. I need to get money to do that. The grace of simplicity, meekness, and true affection would make a paradise of the humblest home. It is better to endure cheerfully every inconvenience than to part with peace and contentment. What if you don't actually need that extra salary? What if your children will be benefited more by your presence than being able to buy that more expensive car? What if? I hope we will put our children first in this earthly realm, but God obviously is first spiritually. God's claims upon us, how we ought to live when we are out the city, how we ought to live in general as people who have homes, how to make people welcome, how to have people who will benefit us, and how to be a benefit to them. Those are so important. May we pray that we will benefit others as much as we can.